Rolling. Okay, here we go. Legislator, beautiful day. As a matter of fact, 5 years ago today, this place was flooded.
Oh, yes, that's right. Heard that in the news.
Yeah. All the pictures are on my blog. I put them up this morning.
Yeah.
Nice. Bernard Richard.
Hi, Charles.
Former ombudsman, former MLA, former everything. Okay, the city of Fredericton asked you to investigate the battle between Charles LeBlanc and the police. Now, I never really had time. There was a news conference. I never seen so many media in all my life. Place burned. I put my jacket on my stove by mistake. My place caught on fire 2 days later.
Yeah, the same week. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Not a good week.
No, it wasn't a good week at all. So then I talked to you after
the same day.
The report I saw you outside City Hall. Yeah. And very good akanyangeli, because tu parles about emotionally disturbed. Right? I look at you and say, what are you talking about? Emotionally disturbed. The word was emotionally disturbed. They have to deal with people emotionally disturbed. Why is that now?
Oh, well, I think in the report I was referring to ADHD. ADHD, as I point out in the report, and based on the manual is described as persons who are emotionally.
And you have ADHD too. So.
I've never been
diagnosed by me.
But I know we've talked about ADHD maybe 100 times over the years. Charles, you and I,
we
have, and
you're full of energy.
Yeah, I'm full of energy, and so are you. And so I felt that part of the response of the Fredericton police force to the ongoing dispute with you was related to the fact that the policemen aren't really well trained to deal with people who suffer from ADHD and other types of
bipolar, autism, headstrong people, stubborn people, Scottish, Irish,
people who are oppositional,
don't like authority.
Policemen are trained to do police work, and there is now a bit more training in dealing with people who present with emotional conditions that can be a challenge for police officers, but they're not really trained to deal with that. So I felt that was a major part of the issue, and wanted to make recommendations to improve training, to recognize that that's something that they need to look at, even to hire people who are not policemen, might be social workers or people who have training in psychology.
Yeah, that's another thing.
And to walk a police beat, to deal with individuals. Yeah. We see them in Fredericton all the time, people who are destitute. They're not criminals, but often we ask merchants or others, we ask policemen to deal with those people, and they're not trained to do it.
It's just like here, right? The walking trail, they have the park patrol. I call them the rat patrol, and then they go after them with no helmets. As a matter of fact, you were involved with Frank McKenna to pass that all full helmet law.
Yeah.
But then they go after them. Hey, where's your helmet? Hey, who the hell are you? And the next thing you know, the rat patrol, they call the police. They're changing good law-abiding citizens that had mental problem into criminals. But anyway, that's another story. Yeah, now, what did you?
More of a health. The helmet issue is more of a health issue, right? Like wearing helmets that professional hockey players now are obligated to wear a helmet.
New Brunswick is the only one that they go after people with no helmet.
But you know, Charles, if you fall off your bike and hit your head,
that's another story. Never mind, because you're not gonna win on this one.
I'm not gonna win on any.
But okay, you know that. As a matter of fact, I got myself ready. I got about 2 candies. Yeah. Okay, I'm all set. All full of sugar. You want one?
No.
Okay. So anyway, we're gonna have a good debate here. Now, you said to me, when I said emotionally disturbed, you said that I said Constable Oiseau, kids were afraid, were in danger around him. I called him. You even told the CBC radio that I called him a sexual predator. And then you showed me the blog that you went on your finding. Do you remember that?
But I used a lot of your post things in considering the situation that I was presented with. Not just that. I mean, the time you spent on the blowhorn and
that wasn't talked about.
Well, I talked about it in my report. I wrote about that, and I talked about certainly many of your posts.
Nothing was said about why I was there. The double standard policy, orders from Dan Bissière wasn't even mentioned in that.
No, because I was asked to investigate the police, to review the police investigation of you.
Yeah, but that started at the legislature. They follow orders from Dan Bissière.
The police investigation was relating to the bicycle stop by Loiseau, and so that flowed all from there. And I have no authority to review your relationship with Dan Bissière.
But that's why I was there with LeBlanc.
I know about it clearly, because you blog about it.
Yeah, I mean, if they give you a ticket with no from orders of Dan Bissière to ride a bicycle on the sidewalk, and you show them video and pictures of politicians jaywalking, and they're not doing anything, isn't that a double standard?
Well, certainly there is discretion in police work, and I actually raised that in the report. And I asked the question in the report: had that the person on the other side of the street riding a bicycle without a helmet, had it been someone else, would the same thing have happened? I mean, I think it's a fair question.
Yeah, yes, you did. I remember that. I'll give you credit. Yes, you did. And you would have been concerned, and you had a problem. It was like the Warren Commission, but nobody showed. The main two characters never talked to you.
Are you talking about the conspiracy theory?
No, but I mean, Loiseau never talked to you. I never talked to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I had orders from my supporters not to talk to you because I'm not intelligent enough to talk about my charter rights. And that's what I thought we were going to talk about.
Yeah.
Because when they raid your place, and then, I don't want to jump, but the sexual predators, it said in the blog, sexual predators. You graduated from high school, right?
I did graduate from high school.
Yeah, so you know the difference between pluriel and masculin.
Now closed.
Yeah. Which school?
Capelé.
Oh my God, it's a long time ago. Yeah. It's true you don't know. Okay. So anyway, predators, S, masculin. Pluriel, puis masculin.
Yeah, you have to interpret. If you're doing a review like that, you have to interpret. It was pretty clear from your blog who you were talking about. It's pretty hard to reach another conclusion.
I was talking about the data that was lost for 7 years. That the police chief apologized because they couldn't find no sexual predator for 7 years.
Yes.
And I said, if they support a sexual pervert, like Loiseau, well, what do you expect? And I still say he touched my testicle. Yeah, but anyway, that's...
There's no, I kind of looked at that video.
You didn't hear me, but we never talked.
Yeah, but because you didn't meet with me.
No, but I never call him a sexual predator. I call him a sexual pervert.
Yeah, so you think that's better?
Yeah, because you went on CBC, you said, well, danger of kids and sexual predator and blah, blah, blah. And I said to myself,
it was strong language.
I could have went like this.
Any way you look at it, Charles, it was strong language. And really, there's not a lot of proof that you've made a lot of allegations that are unproved. And it was strong language. And really, I think, unacceptable. If someone were to do that to a high school student,
bullying.
It would be called bullying.
Bullying, yeah.
It would be called bullying. So to me, it amounted to, and bullying, I think, is not exclusive to teenagers or children, although it's really prevalent in high schools now. And I think the nature of the internet, I talked about that as well in the report. The nature of the internet is such that it's so easy to bully other people using the internet. Much easier than it was in the past. Now,
bullying was in school with us from 9 to 3. Now it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Yeah. Like what I'm doing with Dan Bissière, that could be called bullying. Yeah. What I do to him, but what he did to me, But it's just, there's a lot.
Yeah, it's a gray zone, and I agree with that. I mean, I was asked to review whether the police had reason to pursue criminal code charges against you, and what I found is that they made it very clear in the report that they chose the wrong that they chose the wrong section.
They should have took 300. That's 5 years in jail.
There was a section available to them. Now, that was available to them.
Yeah, 5 years in jail.
The Supreme Court has said that. 5 years is a maximum, so no one gets 5 years for that.
No, there's still exceptions. Voila, right here.
Well, I mean, I know you're exceptional, Charles.
Oh, yeah. See, look. No bicycle, no helmet, enjoying herself. What's wrong with that? See? Okay, so anyway, now, what did the internet provider tell you? They use a fake form that specialized.
That's in the report. I'm not. You know, I've moved on, Charles. You know me. I've moved on.
No, we're talking about. I haven't talked to you in 4 months. Are you concerned to associate me with child porn to raid my place? Isn't that bad?
I addressed in the report very clearly. I said that that was one of the major concerns that the Fredericton police force, in fact, all forces need to. They're not above the law, right? They need to follow the appropriate procedures, use the right forms. They can't change the wording in the form just because it suits their purpose, because they wanted to get access to your internet address and information, and that I think I was clear. Didn't hold any punches on that stuff. I mean, I don't think that I try, as I do on all things, to try to take a balanced approach. I don't approve of how the police in this case went about getting the internet provider information, and I made that clear in the report. I think you went overboard in some of the language you used against Loiseau. I made that clear in the report, and I wasn't there to choose sides. I was there to write a report and to give my judgment on it and to make recommendations. That's what I did.
One child porn picture and 200,000 pictures, one naked kid in there, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
I don't think we would. No, I think you'd be in a lot more trouble than you were. Actually, you ended up. They withdrew the charges. If you had been in possession of child pornography, I would have been one of many to say that's not acceptable. I've worked with too many vulnerable children who have been abused and taken advantage of to have any time for anyone.
And even though it would have been sort of like an illegal search,
well,
that's it. Hey, we found child porn.
That would have been a technical issue to be raised in court. You might not have been found guilty.
But public opinion.
Public opinion
done.
would have been
done.
Awful, yeah, absolutely. It would have been, even though you're found not guilty on a technicality, if you had been in possession of child porn, in my mind and in the mind of the public, you would have been not a really good person.
How come these cops never don't investigate a little bit more? I hate kids. I can't stand that little move. I mean, I'm so happy I'm not into that shit. But they would have used it. It would have been an illegal search warrant to get into my. They look at everything. My emails with me and you, my emails with everybody, my contact.
I've talked to university professors. I've talked to in the course of this review, and it was raised with me at one point. I can't remember by who that was now, but that possibly, and sure, it is a possibility that they were trying to get at your internet data in order to catch you at doing something wrong. And so that this was just an excuse to get some worse stuff on you. Because they have a grudge and they don't like you, I guess.
I wonder why. Because I filmed a soldier that was beat up, that's why.
And I talked about that as well in the report.
That's where I'll start.
I really think I took a balanced approach to it. I know you weren't happy in the end, but I wasn't trying to make anyone, I wasn't trying to make the police, Fredericton police happy. I wasn't trying to make Charles LeBlanc happy. I was trying to provide a report that was objective and that reflected what I found in my research.
Listen, we've known each other since 87. When you ran for leadership, what was that, 91?
98. When came into the
that was 98. Okay,
I was elected in 91.
91, and I've known you for a long time. So how do I move on? You know me. Let's get personal here. How do I move on? I'm Scottish. I got ADHD. I'm stubborn as you.
I mean, I don't know, Charles. I guess you know, like everybody, you determine what it is you want to do in life. How do you want to live your life? How do you want to? What are your goals, and how do you set about attaining them? And I think goals differ from people to people. Not everyone wants to do the same thing, but everyone wants to do something, right? Everyone has goals for themselves.
Try to make changes.
Want to be better, want to make a contribution somehow, and not everybody has the same opportunity or privilege, but everyone has a chance to move on. And so I think first have to decide what it is you want to move to. What goals are right for you as an individual, and then you set about reaching them. I think we're lucky to live in a country where that's possible for most people.
Nice to live in the country where have the legislature behind us and have a.
That's a peaceful day. We don't worry about secret agents watching us. I don't think they.
You don't think so? You don't think the cameras are on us right now, wondering what the hell we're talking about?
Yeah, what are they talking about? It'll be on your blogs, I'm sure.
Merci beaucoup.
Toujours un plaisir, Charles LeBlanc.